Endless Hustle presented by the Movie Trivia Schmodown. The Movie Trivia Schmodown is the ultimate mental sport for the movie fanatic. Intense movie trivia with the flair of pro wrestling. Championship matches, competing factions. MTS has the best competitors in the world. This isn't your parents' game show. The end of the season finale is the Schmodown Spectacular 6. All of the championships on the line and all of the greats play here. This isn't bar trivia. This is the Movie Trivia Schmodown. I'm Arthur Cade, BroBible's Endless Hustle. Scott Adkins, Dolph Lundgren, two of the bigger action stars of my generation teaming up. And this time, Dolph, you're behind the camera. How much fun was it actually directing yourself doing action?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a lot of fun. It's hard work, and it's satisfying to see the results after going through all the pains and pulling my bicep tendon and having to edit the thing and keep up with Scott Adkins trying to take my head off. I thought it was a good experience, but it's not really fun to do it. It's hard work.
Scott, how did he do? Give him a grade.
Come on, he's action legend royalty here, Dolph Lundgren. Ivan Drago, isn't it? I was happy that he didn't take my head off.
It's incredible, Dolph. All these years later, I'm a Philly kid, so obviously Rocky has such a close personal touch of my heart. All these years later, did you ever imagine that character would still resonate decades afterwards?
No, I sure didn't. I know Sly recut the picture at opening in Philly last week. I was working here in Europe, but I don't think it's not just a character, it's the whole movie, that Rocky IV, the way he did that, even though it was 35 years ago, it's quite modern, the editing, the music. There's something about it. It doesn't age like some 80s movies where you feel like you can't even watch it and, it's very dated. But that picture became a classic for some reason.
Well, it's incredible. And you guys would know about this being action stars, how difficult what you do is. And Sly was actually just talking about how he almost died because the director's cut came out. And it got me thinking for both of you, because obviously, Dolph, you've done the Expendables as well. Scott, you've done a million action movies. What's the closest that you may have ever come to death while filming an action movie yourselves?
Scott.
I remember doing a Hong Kong movie right at the beginning of my career and spent the whole day way up the top underneath this stadium on wires doing these flips and everything. And then we came down for lunch, and then as they were pulling me back up to do it all over again, the pulley snapped, but it was right when I was at the bottom of the floor, so I felt like this far, but it could have snapped while I was at the top, and that was, I was very lucky.
That's some crazy shit. How about you, Dolph?
Yeah, it usually has to do with heights. I did a thing on Masters of the Universe where I play He-Man, and there's this is back in the 80s, so there was no like visual effects, so everything was real. And I had to, they had a window, and I break the glass with my sword, and I jump out on this disc in the movie. There's like a hovering disc out there, which was just a platform, and it was late at night, maybe 3 in the morning, and I knocked the glass out, and I go to jump, and as I'm jumping, I realized like they forgot to put the boxes. They usually put like boxes around the on the ground in case you miss, and there were no boxes. But I was already in the air, so it was like, fuck, that basically landed on that. Somebody should have gotten fired, but it was it was Canon Films in 1986, so people just said, okay, he made it, good.
He's alive. Let's keep going. Meanwhile, I would have been like, guys, it was a pleasure. Have fun.
Now it would be like criminal lawsuit or something.
So when you get to work in an action movie, do you guys feel like even after all these years, you're big kids? Like, do you find yourself kind of goofing around and saying like, how cool is this shit? We get to like break through walls, do this stuff, search for buried $300 million treasures, and like, do you find yourself still being a kid at heart?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, in this film, we're shooting the guns, but they were airsoft, and we added the muzzle flare afterwards. So essentially, you're doing a scene as seriously as you can, and you're basically pretending to fire these guns. And if you stop and think about it, it's just completely absurd. It is what you would do when you were, 8 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree totally. I think that, it's the tone of the movie is sometimes different. Like, Castle Falls had more of a serious tone. But like, for instance, on Expendables, yeah, you're like running around like, it's like you said, you're 8 years old. You're running around with a AK-47 and jumping down to some boat, that where there's like your stunt doubles doing a jump, and then you're down there, and then the boat's going to take off, and then you watch the movie, and you've only done like 10% of it yourself. The rest was the second unit. So it's just like it is certainly a fun way to make a living. Sometimes.
When I was 10 years old, my dad bought me a ninja suit. First black belt I ever got it in the mail order. And I never took that ninja suit off. And then when I was 30, I was doing my second ninja movie, getting paid for it. So.
Yeah, me too. I used to direct my brothers and sisters in these, war games in our backyard. And I was probably like 8 to 9, and they were like 5. And if they screwed up, I was very, very harsh on them, like something. It was kind of like Germans and Second World War stuff, and nothing has changed. And now I have to direct Scott instead of my brother.
So Dolph, here's the $1 million question, because you've had the opportunity to participate in both franchises, the Rocky franchise and now the Creed franchise.
Yeah.
15-round heavyweight championship battle, Rocky Balboa in his prime versus Adonis Creed in his prime. Who wins and how and what round?
God, got me on the spot there. Well, since the franchise is it depends on who's producing the movie. Because if it's controlled by Sylvester Stallone, then Rocky wins. If it's controlled by Michael B. Jordan, then maybe Adonis wins, or maybe it's a draw. I don't know. But I think that, I don't know. That's a tough question, I don't know. I think that there'll have to be a rematch. So probably Rocky would lose the first fight, and then he'd go in the hospital, and then he'd win the rematch as usual.
Yeah, because Sly would be thinking, I can make a lot more money on the sequel.
You should go into politics, Dolph, with that answer.
I know. As I was speaking, I was just trying to, navigate all this, problems. But no, I think the Creed franchise was a great idea, and Coogler, the direction of the first Creed was just beautiful. I love that movie. So it's a good move.
Yeah, I'd give Rocky in 15. Split decision, 15. Unbeatable heart. He's taking it.
Adrian.
I'm going to go for Rocky too.
Guys, this has been a pleasure. Thanks so much. Actually, saw the film last night. It's called Castle Falls, and absolutely adored it last night. I love just fun heist movies like this, and you guys just do a fantastic job. Great job behind the camera, Dolph. Love the way you shot it.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Have a great weekend, guys. Happy holidays.
You too.
Thanks, man.